What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Rats Report. It is time to talk about the Toronto Raptors because we got some of the most strangest news yesterday during the game that was linking the Toronto Raptors to a former MVP and how the Raptors are the favorites to land him potentially as soon as the offseason. So I'm going to be breaking that down for you in today's video. So if you are ready to watch, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, as you guys know, I do like to give out shout outs on my channel, and the shout out for today's goes out to RS Bandy. So, RS Bandy, thank you so much for supporting this channel through your likes and comments. It is very much appreciated. And NBA Central was reporting if he's not with the Sixers next season, the Raptors are the favorites to land Joel Embiid. As you see, the Toronto Raptors are on the top of that list. Some of the other teams included are the Atlanta Hawks, Houston Rockets, and the Phoenix Suns as well. Now, a lot of people were surprised by this news. Why would the Raptors be interested in Joel Embiid? Well, you do have to take into consider several factors when we talk about the Raptors potentially trading for Joel Embiid. I've always felt like if Joel Embiid were to be traded, he would definitely be, one of the teams that would want to trade for him would be the Raptors. Now, why you may ask is one simple reason only. Masai Ujiri loves his African players. And although, Joel Embiid is a US citizen and a French citizen as well, but he was born in Cameroon. We know the history of Masai Ujiri. He had Pascal Siakam here. He likes a lot of these guys based on their athleticism. Now, obviously, Joel Embiid, considering his age and injuries, which we'll talk about in just a moment, doesn't really exactly fit that narrative at the moment. But when you talk about Masai Ujiri, you look at his past transactions. What has he always done is trade for star players, sure. But what has he done? Similarly with Kawhi Leonard, and I'm not comparing Joel to Kawhi in any way, shape, or form, but he trades for players when their value is low. When you look at the trade that Raptors just made now, this past trade deadline, what did they do? They traded for Brandon Ingram when the value and the trade asking price was a little bit lower than usual. If this was 2 years ago, 3 seasons ago, maybe Brandon Ingram would have gone for 2 or 3 first-round picks. But considering he was injured, considering he only went for a first-round pick and obviously some other players as well, this is why the Raptors are interested. Joel Embiid, there's talks about him having a potential season-ending surgery, which would mean that this would put the already Philadelphia 76ers even in a more strange position, considering that they may just end up landing a top 5 pick in a very stacked NBA draft class. And then all of a sudden, does that mean that the 76ers look to move off of guys like Joel Embiid? Absolutely. And the Raptors will come calling. Do not be surprised, because the asking price for an injured center, a superstar, a former MVP player, will not be as high as it was maybe 2 or 3 seasons ago. So does it make sense for the Toronto Raptors? If you ask me, I don't think it does, but do not be surprised if the Raptors do this. Why? Because when we talk about money, we always have to talk about money with the new CBA rules. They are honestly designed to trade for a superstar player. They cannot really, given the contracts they have now, they don't have an expiring Bruce Brown contract. They don't have Kelly Olynyk's $13 million. They won't even have Chris Boucher's $9-10 million to throw around in trade deals as well. And I'll talk about which moving parts will be involved in a potential Joel Embiid trade. But first, most importantly, we do have to talk about Joel Embiid and his massive contract. So taking a look here, as you see there, he's currently making $51.4 million. Next season, he's making 55. And by the time we get to 2028, 2029, which honestly seems very far away, it really isn't. He's going to be making $69 million. Now, considering Joel Embiid is already dealing with so many injuries, he's on the wrong side of the 30s. And I mean, look, he's in his early 30s, but we know centers don't age well, considering how big he is, considering he's 7 foot, 280 pounds. He's not going to age really well. Even if he loses weight, he's had a lot of injury issues. I mean, the man has only played, out of the 9 years in his NBA career, he has only played 4 seasons where he's played 60 or more games. And if that's not bad enough, the rest of the seasons he's played, he's only played 5 seasons where he's played 51 games or less. Now, if that's not concerning for you, it is certainly for me. And just considering that the Raptors already have Brandon Ingram, who's, considered injury prone at the moment as well, this is going to be a huge gamble if the Raptors do decide. But again, we do have to talk about what moving parts would be involved, especially considering the money involved as well. So let's take a look at the Raptors salary cap and what pieces could be going to the 76ers from the Toronto Raptors. So as mentioned there, again, Joel Embiid was making around $51.4 million. And taking that into consideration, I did plug it into the NBA trade machine. It did not let me do Emmanuel Quickley or Jakob Poeltl. What it did a little bit allow me to do, we would still have to add more pieces to it, would be RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl. Again, do keep in mind when we do use the NBA trade machine, it doesn't allow Joel Embiid to be traded at all because he signed that 3-year extension contract, but also it doesn't involve the salaries for next season as well. So again, with Jakob Pertl, RJ Barrett would probably the moving pieces involved. Obviously, you'd have to throw in pieces, and Daryl Morey is not someone that is easy to trade with, especially when it's a team within your own division. So do not be surprised if he gets greedy and asks for someone like Grady Dick or Jacoby Walter as well. So again, it isn't the simplest of trades, even when we talk about money, but even in terms of what the Raptors would have to give up. So when I talk about the Raptors position to trade for a star player, this is exactly what I mean. Look, when you look at some of the contracts that are tradable from the Raptors' point of view, they won't have some of these smaller contracts. This is what my concern was with the Raptors moving forward after they traded Brandon Ingram, but also re-signed him as well. They don't have those, Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, Chris Boucher's contract as well, unless they sign Chris Boucher to a smaller deal. It's going to be RJ Barrett, Jakob Pertl, Emmanuel Quickley. They're not trading Scotty Barnes. They're definitely not trading Brandon Ingram. And if it's not those guys, then you can't really make a big deal, which again, it kind of handicaps the Raptors trade assets moving forward, not only because they will eventually be in the luxury tax next season, but also just some of the tradable assets as well, right? It's either guys making 20 plus $million, or then you got guys that are making, $4, $5, $6 million in Grady Dick, and you got obviously Ochai Agbaji as well. So again, it's not going to be easy making a trade with the Philadelphia 76ers. If they do make a trade, however, it's also comes with a lot of challenges, considering that the Raptors, again, Brandon Ingram might not even play this season. He's going to be coming back next season on load management. And if Joel Embiid goes and gets that surgery, he's definitely going to be load managing as well. And the big concern, obviously, with Joel Embiid is not only his health, is, if he gets injured and he's not even available for, let's say, the Raptors make the playoffs next season, what then? You don't have a backup center either. So it just creates so many more issues rather than solving a lot of problems for the Toronto Raptors. So ideally, it does not make sense. If you're asking me, it just puts the Raptors in a very strange situation. They're going to be in the luxury tax. They definitely will be in the second apron if they do trade for Joel Embiid. And now all of a sudden, are we the Phoenix Suns where we can't make trades at all because, the new rules make it so much more difficult for players to be moved in any sort of trades? So that is my big concern. Joel Embiid is a good player. I personally do not like his tactics. I do not like him as a player. I don't think he's a superstar player that can help you, win a championship like Kawhi Leonard. So again, I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this. This is not a player I personally would want to trade for, but I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, I do have a trivia question for you today. And the trivia question for today is, which one of the following players was a teammate of Joel Embiid in college? Was it A, Andrew Wiggins? Was it B, Marcus Smart? Was it C, Dante Exum? Or was it D, Elfrid Payton? So whoever answers this trivia question correctly first in the comment section gets a shout out in my next video. So that will be it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have yourselves a great day.